There we go.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone at home.
So,
Yeah, hi.
good morning. I'm Beth Ogilvie, and I'm going to say just a few words about the tech that's involved in this production before the service begins.
Beth, I tried to get everybody muted and ended up muting the sanctuary too.
Okay, that's the kind of thing I wanted to talk about. There's an unbelievable number of details that, okay. Is the podium mic volume up?
We can hear you.
You can hear me at home. Okay. Okay. They're saying it could be a little louder, Roy. Okay, okay. We're right on the edge of echoing. So maybe down just slightly. Okay. You know that dates you, Bob, right? How many of you are aware that we have a worship rehearsal every Saturday afternoon? Quite a lot of you. Okay. So the order of service that you see in the email is maybe 4 inches long. And by the time we're done with the rehearsal, the order of service in the shared Google Doc is about 4 feet long, with all of the instructions of who to spotlight when and who to mute or unmute. And now we have this amazing hybrid setup, and we had this fancy camera in the back. And so there's camera presets and microphones and so on. So it's just an unbelievable amount of detail, and it's absolutely miraculous to me that it works at all, let alone as well as it does. And when there's the occasional little glitch, I want you to be aware of how much work and love goes into creating these services. And I ask you to think of what the tech team does and the worship team, not as a performance to be evaluated, but as a gift to be cherished. The other thing I'd like to say about the tech is that when I'm in it, it seems overwhelming, huge, but I remind myself that really it's a little thing compared to what we're doing here. What we're doing here is so much bigger than the tech. It's about gathering in this sacred space and worshiping together, feeling the strength of our community and being connected to something larger than ourselves. So even if the power were to go out and we lost all of it, we would still be in worship together. And the people at home, you could be creative and have your own service. And here's Beth in Michigan. So many of you have met her already. She's doing even more now than she was before. She's got like 10 plates spinning at once to run this service. So thank you, Beth, very much. Thank all of you.
Thank you, Beth 1 and Beth 2 and all the tech team. Thank you, Lindley, for being with us in person. And thank you for the people at home who are connected. And thank you, beautiful people, so that I can see your beautiful faces and not empty chairs. I have missed you. So whether you're at home or here, we are connected. This morning, I want to say a special thanks to Rennie Castle for providing us with a plexiglass shield that allows me to take my mask off. Thank you so much, Rennie, for this gift, so that anyone who comes up to the pulpit, you can see their beautiful smiles, and you know that you are protected, and so am I. Let's take a deep breath with joy and gratitude for being together. Later in the service, we are going to hear a water song that says, "She water flows from the source, from beloved mother, so that we may live in harmony. We thank you. All things in sacred motion for health and well-being, so that we may live in harmony. We thank you." This is a Lakota water song. Welcome, bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Good morning, buenos dias. Welcome to Star King Unitarian Universalist Church in Hayward. We are so glad that you have chosen to join us this morning. We hope that in the next hour or so, you will feel connected to your beautiful selves, to each other, and to our larger community. Yesterday was 9/11. And many of us, if we were watching the news or just focusing on the date, remembered New York City, remembered the Twin Towers. 20 years have passed, and the grief waves are still coming. And that grief goes together with other September 11s. For myself and my family in Chile, we grieve our disappeared, the people that died on September 11th, 1973 and afterwards. And I also remember my best friend, Monica, who was born on September 11th and who tragically took her own life nearly 5 years ago, not even 40 years old. So there's a lot in that date. For many of us, it's also a date of rejoicing because some of our good friends were born on that date, and we want to keep on celebrating life and moving on, not forgetting, moving on with all of our memories, with all the mixed feelings, the grief and the hope, the joy and the sorrow. And that's why community is important. When these dates come, we get into a state. Our emotions are all stirred up. It's good to know that we are not alone, that we can bring our whole selves, whether we're grieving or in a wave of grief mixed with joy and hope. Life is like that. Messy, so that it gives us opportunities to experience a multitude of feelings and to empathize with someone going through perhaps something similar or totally different, but heartfelt and deep. So this water ceremony, I am hoping, will give you an opportunity to go with the flow, whether it's the technology, whether it's our own feelings, go with the flow of the river, go deep or float, feel refreshed, let go, hold on to life, to hope, to joy, and to each other. Deep breath, deep breath. Deep peace of the deep waters to each and every one of us as we begin this water ceremony. I'm going to invite Claudia to share with us our land acknowledgement.
Thank you. Wonderful to see you. We acknowledge that Hayward, California is Ohlone land, and that for thousands of years, this land was inhabited by people who lived here peacefully and cared for the land in a way that honored all that was here before us. We hope that we can amplify this truth and learn from the Ohlone people what it means to be stewards of this beautiful land, and to be inspired to form meaningful relationships with local Indigenous people working to protect this sacred land, to repair injustices, and to move forward together in honorable ways.
Thank you, Claudia. I'm going to invite my mom to light the chalice, and then I'm going to invite everyone to recite along with the words that will be printed and projected in a slide. Do we have a slide? There we go. Water flows from high in the mountains. Water runs deep in the earth. Miraculously, water comes to us and sustains life. Water and sun green these plants. When the rain of compassion falls, even a desert becomes an immense green ocean. And these are the wise and inspiring words of teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. Our opening song is Water is Life by Madisato Lakota.
Here is a new medicine song for the sacred waters that came through me about a year ago when I was praying at the source waters of our rivers that flow down into Santa Fe. And it's in Lakota, and basically the song says that she, the waters of life, flows from our beloved mother so that we may live in harmony. We are thankful. All things in sacred motion for health and well-being so that we may live. I am thankful. Mini wichoni unchi maka wani wachi elo pila maya Elohe dakua kan wichosaniwa wani wachi elo pila maya Elohe meni wichoni Unchimaka wani wachielo pila maya Elohe dakua kan wichosaniwa wani wachielo pila maya Elohe.
Our call to worship is from Clarissa Pincola Estes, the Rainmaker. You could be the water. By the scent of water alone, the withered vine comes back to life. And thus, wherever the land is dry and hard, you could be the water. Or you could be the iron blade disking the earth open. Or you could be the acequia, the mother ditch, carrying the water from the river to the fields to grow the flowers for the farmers. Or you could be the honest engineer, mapping the dams that must be taken down and those dams which could remain to serve the venerable all instead of only the very few. You could be the battered vessel for carrying the water by hand, or You could be the one who stores the water. You could be the one who protects the water, or the one who blesses it, or the one who pours it. Or you could be the tired ground that receives it. Or you could be the scorched seed that drinks it. Or you could be that vine, green, growing over land in all your wild audacity. Our Soulful Families Ministry video is We Are Water Protectors. And you'll remember we did this last year, and some of us took the Water Protector Pledge, which you are invited to renew once again.
Hello, Future Titans. Today's story is We Are Water Protectors. It's written by Carol Lindstrom and illustrated by Michaela Godey. Water is the first medicine, Nokomis told me. We come from water. It nourished us inside our mother's body as it nourishes us here on Mother Earth. Water is sacred, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. The river's rhythms run through my veins, runs through my people's veins. My people talk of a black snake that will destroy the land, spoil the water, poison plants and animals, and wreck everything in its path. When my people first spoke of the black snake, they foretold that it wouldn't come for many, many years. Now the black snake is here. Its venom burns the land, courses through the water, making it unfit to drink. Take courage. I must keep the black snake away from my village's water. I must rally my people together to stand for the water, to stand for the land, to stand as one against the black snake. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. It will not be easy. We fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, the winged ones and the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, and lakes. The earth, we are all related. Tears like waterfalls stream down, tracks down my face, tracks down my people's faces. Water has its own spirit, Nokomis told me. Water is alive. Water remembers our ancestors who came before us, she said. We stand with our songs and our drums. We are still here. We are stewards of the earth. Our spirits have not been broken. We are water protectors. We stand. The black snake is in for the fight of its life. This is the Earth Steward and Water Protector Pledge. I will do my best to honor Mother Earth and all its living beings, including the water and the land. I will always remember to treat the earth as I would like to be treated. I will treat the winged ones, the crawling ones, the four-legged, the two-legged, the plants, trees, rivers, lakes, the earth with kindness and respect. I pledge to make this world a better place by being a steward of the earth and a protector of the water. The end.
And now, with the help of our two worship associates, Mama Lily and Claudia, we will open the space to share our candles of joys and sorrows, our prayers for healing, sending out thoughts to whoever feels lonely. We will collect the pink slips here in the sanctuary, and we invite you at home to type into the chat box your prayers and to send good energy wherever you think it may be needed. Let us open our hearts in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of community in which we share and find strength and common purpose. We turn our minds and hearts toward one another, seeking to bring into our circle of concern all who need our love and support. Those who are ill, those who are in pain, either in body or in spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. We are grateful to be part of this circle of concern. We are grateful that we can form a healing circle and support each other and express our compassion when we are in pain or going through difficult times, and people with whom we can share our joys as well. From Allison Proud, prayers of healing for my father in the hospital in Miami and hope for a second chance. Our prayers are with you, and we're so glad to see you today so you can receive the love of this community. From Natalie, happy birthday yesterday to Marilyn Mosher. Happy birthday, Marilyn. From Ethel May, joy, pickleball, sorrow, family members' illnesses. That's life, joy and sorrows. From Lori Matthews, I spent last Sunday at Gilroy Gardens with my son, Ben, and family. How wonderful, that's lovely. From Glenn Jacob, my old cat Gypsy died last week. We're sorry. From Mary Swain, joy at being able to visit Karen, her daughter, in Portland last week. Big heart. We're so happy that you two could be reunited. And now I'm going to turn around and try to read the chat box. From Bob Britton, it is something to be proud of, Beth ×2. A friend from San Francisco who zoomed in last week told me it all seemed totally seamless technically. Thanks, Bob. From Al, my niece Kathy's surgery for aortic valve replacement was very successful and she's doing well. Thank you for your thoughts and prayers. From Joe and Al Murdoch. We are so glad to hear the good news. May healing continue. From Bob Britton, Candle of Joy from Bob Britton. Thank you to all who worked to make Labor Day Sunday such a great success last week. Our special plate raised over $1,400 for the work of Faith in Action East Bay. Thank you to all who contributed, and thank you, Bob, again, for a wonderful, deeply moving service. From David Longfellow, a joy for our hybrid service where I can either come in person, especially when I am a worship associate or on the sound booth, and at the same time, to be able to zoom in when I'm not, since it's quite a drive from Concord. Thank you, everyone involved. Thank you, David, for all you do. We appreciate you. Mary Lou Schuler, Candle of Sorrow for my brother-in-law and his family, whose 91-year-old father, Floyd, passed away last Tuesday. We are so sorry for your loss, From Jennifer Coney, prayers for wisdom and love as we vote on our California government by this Tuesday, September 14. Amen. And we always light one last candle for all the prayers that remain in our hearts, the prayers that are unspoken, for all the feelings. We light this candle of hope, and we hope that this light reaches you. And I invite you to recite with me our little prayer. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding you. There is a love holding all. We rest in that love. Amen. And blessed be. We have a musical meditation. Sing the water song. Enjoy.
Granddaughter, the water can hear you. The water has memory.
Nibi,
Nibi,
Wabo,
Wabo,
Endayan,
Endayan.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Mismi, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Oh.
Water is the life's blood of our mother, the earth. Water is the lifeblood of our own body.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misqui, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
To continue to pass on the knowledge that needs to be given unto the other generations. You are the keeper of the water.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misqui, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
To make the change in this life condition that we're in, that great-grandchildren will stand up to this truth of what life is about and to live it in such an honorable way, the way ancestors came to this earth.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misqui, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
Each day when the sun rises, no matter how bad the day before might have been, there's a new chance for your hopes and dreams. And I say, Chimiigwech, thank you for singing the water song.
Nibi, Wabo, Endayan, Aki Misqui, Nibi, Wabo, Heya, 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 Hey, Heya, 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 Ho.
And now we're going to begin our own water ritual, our own water ceremony. I know that some of you had brought water, and so we are going to invite the people in the sanctuary first to come up with your water and just share with us briefly, what is your connection to this water that you bring? And we have a bowl up front. I will be holding a mic. I will be masked so that we can be safe. And after we finish with folks in the sanctuary, we'll turn our attention to folks at home who can raise their hands and let me know that they want to speak about the water significance for them. This is a time for grace because technically it's actually very complicated to do this. And let us remind ourselves to go with the flow if there's a glitch, because all is good and all is well. I'm going to ask the first person to just raise their hand here and come up with their water while I turn on. Hi, Nathan, come on in. Come on in. So this is the mic that I'm going to be holding. I think it's on. And how is this volume? Good? Great. So I saw Will raising his hand. Welcome, Will and Doris, and tell us about the water that you brought.
This represents our trip to Fort Ross and to Pacific Grove this year. So supposedly ocean water, but it's not, of course.
Thank you so much. Just, yes, pour it into the common bowl. Thank you. Come on up, Marge. And tell us about your water.
This represents trips we took to Mendocino and Santa Cruz, which helped us to feel a lot more sane after months and months of staying at home.
Thanks, Marge. Glenn, come on up. And then I think I saw Diane.
So as you know, I take a lot of walks around the Bay Area. I find it very peaceful and beautiful. I collected this yesterday at the Berkeley shoreline.
Thanks, Glenn. Diane, would you like to come up?
This is very simply the life-giving water from our tap.
Thank you. That is so important. Come on up.
Okay, this water represents all the lakes and rivers and oceans that I've been gifted throughout my life, and all the rivers that we need to keep us alive.
And this water represents the water below in our San Lorenzo Creek right here.
Thank you both. Sheila and Ethel May, please pour it. Yes. Thank you. Gracias.
This water represents water from the Columbia River in Oregon, although I purchased it at the Portland airport.
It still counts, Mary. Thank you. Nathan?
This water is simply from our home here in Hayward, the first home that we've owned for the last 5 years and the only home that Ollie's ever known.
Yay for home, so important. Thanks, Nathan. Amy?
Honoring tap water and hydration and it's nourishing water.
Health. Yay. Thank you, Amy. Mom? ¿Tiene el agua? Okay.
This water I bring from Puerto Rico para sanación de everybody.
For healing for everyone. Gracias. Claudia and then Natalie.
This water is from my home in Castro Valley, and it represents my prayer that all people and animals have good, clean water to drink.
Amen to that. Clean water for everyone. Thank you, Claudia. Natalie?
This represents the water of San Francisco Bay every day. The sight of the bay sustains me.
Thank you, Natalie. Beautiful. Anyone else? Yes, I see many hands. Bob and Sandy Simone, welcome.
This is water from the Pacific Ocean at Pismo Beach, where we spent last weekend. And it's okay if I get some sand in there, or should I try to?
We're not going to drink it, so it's okay to pour sand in it. Mine has sand in it too. Beautiful. Lori?
This represents the water from Gilroy Gardens Water Park, where my son, Ben, is, and my granddaughter, Tori, and her mother, Michaela, we spent last Sunday.
Thank you, Lori. Great. Yay for family reunions. Beth, I saw your hand, and then Leah. That's a very nice receptacle there. Very organic.
This water represents the water from May Lake in the High Sierra, where 5 of us from the church spent 2 nights in July.
Thank you. Beautiful. Leah? Yeah, people are asking if you carried it in your hand since then. Of course.
This water represents the many creeks that I enjoy so much in the Bay Area, including Cordonices Creek in Berkeley, which was near where I grew up, Zealy Creek here in Hayward, which is where I live now, and the lovely creek out here next to our church.
Thank you, Leah. You can pour the water in the bowl. Uh-huh. Oh, sharing the water. I love it. Allison.
This represents the water from all of the lakes in the High Sierra near our vacation home in Arnold that every time I'm up there, I have to go swimming in a lake. It just refreshes me and cools me and sustains me.
I feel refreshed listening to that and imagining that lake. Anyone else? Anyone have virtual water that they like to share? Invocation of a water spot that just refreshes your soul? No? Or anyone? Yes, Kirk.
I just say that if I forgot my water and if I had gone back to pick it up, I'd been late to church and I didn't want to do that. But this water is from in a little town that's where my daughter lives, where I visited. And in the middle of the town is a spring and people can come get it. Well, what do you think the name of the town is? Spring City. Yeah.
Thanks, Kirk. That's great. Anyone else? All right, so I think now we'll turn to our folks at home. And I guess I don't need this mic anymore. Is that right?
This water is water from my bird bath in my backyard, where I spent mindless hours watching them drink and play.
Here. David, can you repeat that, please?
Yes, this water is from my bird bath in my yard, where I spend timeless hours watching them drink and swim and play every day.
Thanks, David. Anyone else at home would like to share? Can we get a gallery view? There's Mary Lou raising her hand. Hi, Mary Lou. and then
Hi.
Jennifer. So Mary Lou and then Jennifer.
David, we share the same thing. This represents the water that I've always kept in the bird baths and watched the birds enjoy the water and play and splash and drink. And also for the water for the hummingbirds, the food that they eat, and they bring me so much joy.
Thanks, Mary Lou. And Jennifer, welcome. Where's your
Yeah,
water
thanks.
from?
Yeah, my water represents from Lake Michigan, fresh water, refreshing water, and a beautiful time I had with sisters reuniting while going on a trip to Mackinac Island this summer. It was fabulous.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Yay for sisters and water. Anyone else? Would you like to share? Please raise your hand. Mireya, you are being spotlighted, but I don't know if you raised your hand or not. I don't need to put you on the spot. No.
Oh,
Nayela? No. Can we get a gallery view to see who's raising their hand? Is there another page or is that it for the gallery? Okay. I'm gonna give people just a couple more seconds. You don't have to have actual water. You can be a virtual water protector if you just like to remember one of your, there's Mary Lazak raising her hand. Go ahead, Mary.
Water to represent Lake Don Castro here in the area.
Thank you, Mary. I hope I'm not missing anyone. If you wanted to share, like I said, you don't have to have the water. You can speak to your favorite water spot in the world and what it means to you. Maybe Monster wants to say, I love water. There's Monster, Nancy's little dog. We love you, Monster. You are so cute. All right. Hey, Monster, you're talking. Yeah, that's you. I bet you appreciate a nice bowl of fresh water. Well, I'm gonna pour my water in, which came from the same beach that my mom's water came from in Puerto Rico. And this water is filled with gratitude. First of all, for my mom and her health and her love of the water. If it's not too much information, I was conceived on the ocean because my father was a captain of a merchant marine ship who fell in love with the beautiful Lily in northern Chile and just whisked her away all the way to Greece on a trip that took them almost 4 months. And by the time they arrived, guess what? I was swimming in her water. And we've always lived by the water, and she loves the water. And my mom comes alive. When I saw my mother, I held her hands as she walked into the beach in Puerto Rico, and she just started crying. And so the tears going into the ocean, and she's thanking God for this blessing and believing that all those minerals and good energy are healing and refreshing, not just her body, but her soul. And so I was holding her hand and she was filled with this emotion and this love and gratitude for the water we were in. And I'll pour my water with that memory. Thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you for sharing this common bowl where we have mixed our waters, whether they were from the tap or the airport in Portland or the lakes or Puerto Rico, bird baths and other places. It's all sacred, right? And we also remember that water also can destroy. We've had many hurricanes recently, and we want to keep all the people who were in the hurricane's path, who lost their homes, who lost family members, who were displaced permanently. We want to keep them in mind and in heart, because we don't want to romanticize water at the same time that we lift it up as a life source, as a healing source. We also recognize that climate change is real, and this is what we are experiencing these days. So like life, right? It's everything mixed. So we lift everything, all of the feelings, all of the prayers, all of the characteristics of water. Praise and gratitude to the sacred waters of the world, to the oceans, the mother of life, the womb of the plant life that freshens our air with oxygen, the brew that is stirred by sunlight and the moon's gravity into the great currents and tides that move across the earth, circulating the means of life, bringing warmth to the frozen Arctic and cool, fresh winds to the tropics. We give thanks for the blessed clouds and the rain that brings the gift of life to the land, that eases the thirst of roots, that grows the trees and sustains life even in the dry desert. We give thanks for the springs that bring life-giving water up from the ground, for the small streams and creeks, for the mighty rivers. We praise the beauty of water, the sparkle of the sunlight on a blue lake, the shimmer of moonlight on the ocean's waves, the white spray of the waterfall. We take delight in the sweet singing of the dancing stream and the roar of the river in the flood. We ask help to know within ourselves all the powers of water, to wear down and to build up, to ebb and to flow, to nurture and to destroy, to merge and to separate. We know that water has great powers of healing and cleansing, and we also know that water is vulnerable to contamination and pollution. We ask help in our work as healers, in our efforts to ensure that the waters of the world run clean and run free, that all the earth's children have the water they need to sustain abundance of life. Blessed be the water. And these are the words of Starhawk. Deep breath for that beautiful ritual. Thank you again for sharing. And I'm going to invite Claudia up for the offertory.
Thank you. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves at fires we did not light. We sit in shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. Our lives are filled with gifts from persons we did not know. We are ever bound in community. May we continue the good work of those who have come before us, and may the offerings we make today nourish and sustain this community for generations to come. I'll bring the basket, and people at home know what to do. It's in the chat.
Thank you all for your generosity. And now I'm going to ask Mama Lily to extinguish the chalice, and then I invite you all to recite the words with me. I believe we might have a slide. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now for the benediction. Open your hearts, open your minds. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the infinite peace to you. Thank you for being with us. This was wonderful. It's one of my favorite services. I am so glad that we get to have a hybrid service with people at home and here in the sanctuary as well, and some of our children in the playground. It just brings my heart so much joy to see your beautiful faces. Thank you for choosing to be with us. I want to, before the closing song, I want to invite Jennifer Coney to tell us any information about the Peace and Justice Action Team's meeting, which follows the service, but will not be hybrid, I understand. So we might need some instructions for people interested in attending. Jennifer?
Okay, hello. For those of you who are interested in attending the Peace and Justice Action Team, we will be having that. It looks like 11:45 is when we'll start, and we'll be using the same Zoom link. I'm going to ask Beth Ogilvie, are we able to do hybrid today?
She says yes.
She says yes. So those of you want to stay in the church sanctuary, if you could check in with Beth Ogilvie to participate via the hybrid model, we're going to attempt that. And, connection, not perfection. Anyway, we're going to try 11:45. And this is the meeting where we're going to be honoring and acknowledging Frank's long-standing service with this committee, with us as a church, and to honor him, as well as talk about the future structure of the team and the action areas that we'll be taking moving forward. So please join us if you're interested. Thank you.
And in addition to that, we'll be celebrating and expressing our gratitude to Jennifer for stepping up to chair the Peace and Justice Action Team. So thank you, Jennifer. So this will be a hybrid meeting. If you are here in the sanctuary, take a little break. If you want to attend the meeting, just remain in the sanctuary, or you can drive home and join via Zoom. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our closing song, There's a River Flowing in My Soul. Lily is here in person, yay. We'll have the words in a slide for you to sing along. We invite you to stand as you're willing and able, and keep your masks on. beautiful, Lindley. Thank you so much. Thank you to our tech team. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Amy, for being great greeters. Thank you to everyone who attended and participated. Thank you, Leah, for the flowers. Thank you, Donnie and Lori, who are with the children. We cannot do this without you. It's truly, truly a collaboration and a team effort. Have a great meeting or have a great rest of the day. We'll see you next time.
All right, folks, if you want to chat a little bit, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Thank you, Beth.
Hey, Beth, are you going to be able to make me co-host so I can share content in the agenda?
When I'm clicked into the chat box, hitting the space bar to unmute myself temporarily doesn't work. But yes, I will make you the host actually in a minute here when I go to sign out, and then you'll have everything you need. And David and Beth Ogilvy are also co-host. Well, the Sanctuary camera is co-host. So if
Beautiful.
you need support, they're around for these for